Shocking news from Los Angeles tonight. NBC News has confirmed pop superstar Michael Jackson is dead at the age of 50.
The Los Angeles Times is reporting that Michael Jackson has died. Los Angeles Times saying Michael Jackson has died, 50 years old.
Michael Jackson has died in Los Angeles this afternoon. Fox News cannot confirm this, but Associated Press has just reported a person with knowledge of the situation says Michael Jackson has died.
But NBC News has now confirmed the earlier reports that Michael Jackson, planning on the verge of his greatest or certainly most difficult comeback of many in a long and varied career in entertainment, and one of the most controversial figures in American pop culture, if not in the society as a whole, is dead tonight at the age of 50, having succumbed apparently to cardiac arrest.
Fire paramedic 33, what is your emergency?
Yes, sir. I need an ambulance as soon as possible, sir. Sir, we have a gentleman here that needs help, and he's not breathing yet. He's not breathing, and we're trying to pump him, but he's not breathing, sir.
Okay, how old is he?
He's 50 years old, sir.
50, okay. He's unconscious, he's not breathing?
Yes, he's not breathing, sir.
Okay, and he's not conscious either?
No, he's not conscious, sir.
Okay. All right, do you have him, is he on the floor? Where's he at right now?
He's on the bed, sir. He's on the bed.
Okay, let's get him on the floor.
Okay.
Okay, let's get him down to the floor. I'm going to help you with CPR right now, okay?
We need him.
Yes, we're already on our way there. We're on our way. I'm going to do as much as I can to help you over the phone. We're already on our way. Did anybody see him?
Yes, we have a personal doctor here with him, sir.
Oh, you have a doctor there?
Yes, but he's not responding to anything. No, he's not responding to CPR or anything, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, we're on our way there. If your guys are doing CPR and you're instructed by a doctor, he has a higher authority than me, and he's there on scene.
Okay.
Did anybody witness what happened?
No, just the doctor, sir. The doctor's been the only one here.
Okay, so the doctor see what happened?
Doctor, did you see what happened, sir? Sir, you just, if you can please.
We're on our way. We're on our way. I'm just passing these questions on to my paramedics while they're on the way there, sir.
Thank you, sir. He's pumping his chest, but he's not responding to anything, sir. Please.
Okay. We're on our way. We're less than a mile away, and we'll be there shortly.
The breaking news involving pop star Michael Jackson, and there's every indication at this hour that the news is very serious. According to a number of reports, including the Los Angeles Times, Michael Jackson was taken to the UCLA Medical Center approximately 2.5 hours ago after paramedics were called to his home in the Holmby Hills.
We're getting some breaking news coming into the situation right now from about Michael Jackson, the king of pop, who's 50 years old. Let's go to Deborah Farrick. She's working the story for us. What are we picking up, Deb?
Well, here's what we can tell you. This is what's being reported by KTLA. Apparently, Michael Jackson suffered cardiac arrest this afternoon. He was rushed to UCLA Medical Center.
Brian Oxman, he is the family attorney for the Jackson, and he says that according to Randy Jackson, Michael Jackson's brother, Michael Jackson collapsed in his home in West Los Angeles this morning, and they called paramedics. He says that the family is either at UCLA Medical Center or en route.
This afternoon, the Los Angeles 911 operators took a call in regards to a need for a medical emergency at the 100 block of Candlewood Drive, which is in West Los Angeles. When the paramedics got on scene, they treated the patient.
A lot of effort to try to find some confirmation to try to determine exactly what Jackson's condition was when he arrived at the hospital and what his condition is now. But again, the Los Angeles Times, which has some pretty solid sources in the story in Hollywood, is reporting that Michael Jackson was taken to a hospital this afternoon and that he was not breathing when the paramedics arrived home. Our NBC affiliate station in Las Vegas is attributing quotes to Jackson family members, including Joe Jackson, the dad, saying that he had been alerted to an emergency condition but did not have the details, but was en route to the UCLA Medical Center. In addition, there are reports from our affiliate and from others that Jackson's brothers have gathered at the medical center, and that Janet, the sister, has not, but she is also en route. Again, a very serious seeming situation this afternoon with Michael Jackson. E! Online is quoting Joe Jackson, Jackson's father, as saying he had a heart attack. He is not okay. His mother is on her way to the hospital now to check in on him. The Los Angeles City Fire Department, a spokesman, actually not a spokesman, somebody is quoted also in the story, unidentified, saying the call came in because a person was not breathing.
Hi, David. You're absolutely right. It's an extremely confusing situation. All signs do point that it is very, very serious. However, it's been impossible to get somebody directly related to Michael Jackson on the phone right now. As you can understand, everybody's rushing to be by his side. Really confusing also with inside the tour. They were scheduled to practice at the Staples Center in just a few moments, literally, and everybody there was in place and expecting Michael Jackson to arrive momentarily. So there's a lot of confusion inside the tour. I've been speaking to his managers and people inside his circle for literally months, since news broke that he was going to be going to London's O2 Arena to do this big comeback series, and they've been saying every step of the way, he's healthy, he's healthy, he's healthy.
CNN sources are now saying, multiple sources, that Michael Jackson is in a coma at UCLA Medical Center, suffered from cardiac arrest, and is now in a coma.
That when they arrived on scene, he was not breathing. They attempted CPR along the route to the hospital, but we have nothing to indicate that along that time they were able to revive him. We also know that the original report from his family was, or the people who were in the house with him, was that he had slipped into cardiac arrest and was not breathing at the house. EMTs tell us it was 10 minutes before they got to the house and then another 10-minute ride to the hospital. That's a long time with no breathing.
And unless someone is there to do CPR, then that's the cause of death.
Well, we certainly don't know what the situation is now. It could very well be that when he was brought into the hospital, they were able to revive him. We simply don't know.
Look at the aerials that you're showing on air, and you see the number of people that have already gathered outside the hospital. If that isn't testament to the star power of Michael Jackson, I don't know what is.
The gates actually opened up. Standing behind those gates was a very large man. Can only presume and assume it was a bodyguard here at the estate. A lot of fans here who have shown up, who have been able to gain access to the area that has since been roped off. We had a little bit of trouble getting in here. This street completely blocked off. This is off of a major road here through the Homely Hills.
Update you now on tonight's breaking news. Multiple media outlets are now reporting that pop singer Michael Jackson has died. Jackson was not breathing when paramedics arrived at his home after a 911 call. We are watching for any new developments on this breaking news. We will bring them to you as soon as we learn them.
Good evening, everybody. Breaking news about Michael Jackson. Now, in the past few minutes, the Los Angeles Times and the Associated Press have reported that Jackson has died. CNN cannot confirm those reports, but earlier the entertainer was taken to the hospital in Los Angeles in cardiac arrest. Sources familiar with his condition told CNN that he went into a coma. Now, Kara Finstrom is outside Jackson's house in Los Angeles now. Kara, what can you tell us?
Well, this is the Bel Air home where he was staying. This is a multi-million-dollar neighborhood. He was renting this home. We understand paramedics came here, took him on about a 6-minute ride to the LA hospital, where, according to the LA Times, he has died. You can hear helicopters overhead, lots of media out here. The police have come out now and blocked off the street so that fans cannot continue to come up, but you can see that a number of people from the neighborhood have come up. Kitty, what we understand, though, is that his diehard fans, those that actually camp out, there's about 6 vans that we understand are camped out here every day, have moved to the hospital now to be closer to this pop superstar and to try and get the latest information.
Kara, what kind of people are you seeing here? Are they very young? What's the age demographic? I know he had universal appeal.
Yeah, we are seeing a little bit of everything out here today, and many people have actually brought out their Blackberries. They're texting the latest information they can to family and friends. Some people are taking some pictures, and I want to bring in a couple of the neighbors here who have walked over, and you've been hearing these reports from the LA Times that he has passed away. You say you've walked, through these neighborhoods, and we've got 2 generations of fans here. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts upon hearing this news.
It's very devastating to hear this. He was an icon, and he invented the moonwalk. He created the moonwalk, and I just passed on his dancing and his music to my children, and my daughter Chloe has danced to his songs, and it's just devastating. Absolutely.
Chloe, I know you said you and your friends all loved Michael Jackson, and you actually did some dance routines to his music. Tell us about that.
At school, we would just we had a couple of routines that we would do to Thriller and a couple of his songs. And we just had fun with his music, and he'd always put a smile on our face. So it's sad.
He was amazing. He was absolutely amazing.
Kitty, the sentiment that we seem to be getting over and over from people out here is they heard helicopters in the air, they turned on the TV sets, they heard this news, and they just couldn't believe it. So they've wandered out here to try and get some confirmation, and they're just kind of standing here in the streets, kind of in disbelief. This was a man known for his dramatics, known for theatrics, and they just can't quite believe that this is true.
Kara, for fans all around the world and throughout the country, give us a little bit of a scene set for where you are now, what his neighborhood is like, and are you seeing some of his neighbors actually come to this site?
Yeah, many of these people are his neighbors. Now, they told us, especially the two women we just spoke with, they were getting tours to go see him, tour tickets to go see him in London. They hadn't been able to meet him here in their own neighborhood. So that kind of gives you a feel for the exclusivity of this area. Lots of gates. These are multi-million-dollar homes. Lots of stars live around here. When we first arrived, there were still tour buses driving by his home. People, seeing all the commotion going on, kind of even leaning out of these tour buses, asking what's going on. Since that time, police have sealed off the area, but we did speak with one of those tour bus drivers earlier. She saw the commotion. She saw the fire trucks come out. She saw the paramedics arrive. She didn't actually see Michael Jackson being escorted out, but a lot of emotion here today from a lot of fans who also happen to be his neighbors.
All right. Thanks very much, Kara Finstrom, on the scene in Los Angeles.
I feel sorry for his family, his parents. Can you imagine? Can you imagine losing a child?
Who would know that Joe Jackson would outlive Michael Jackson?
I mean, that's...
Five-year-old Michael Jackson?
And my daughter's an actress and all that, and I guess that's another reason why it hits me, because I know he has worked so hard from day one.
Thank you so much. What's your name?
Helene.
Helene, and what's your name?
Cheyenne Haynes.
Cheyenne Haynes. And they're here for where you live?
We just live in Glendale, but I just wanted to be around like-minded people. I don't want to hear any negative about him today, because I want to celebrate his life, and that's why I came here.
Thank you so much. The Hayes is from Glendale, a new fan and a fan from back in the day. This is what's happening here. Let me just give you, right before we leave, just a short pan of, I would guess, close to 75 or 100 people here.
This is so shocking. I mean, even for you and I, we've been covering this since news first broke that he was taken to the hospital. It's really hard to wrap your brain around this, especially since I know people who were literally dealing with his management hours ago, trying to work out, some additional tour dates and some more appearances. Michael Jackson, by all accounts, the people I spoke to within his circle, was full of life up until this point. He had been wanting to add rehearsals to his day. He'd been completely enthusiastic, not struggling with rehearsals for his upcoming concert series in London. This comes as an absolute shock.
I was thinking back to what Jeff Toobin said 30, 40 minutes ago, that this was extremely sad news, not altogether shocking given the way Michael Jackson looked in the last few years. But obviously, it's a stunning development on this day where we've already suffered the loss of Farrah Fawcett. That was expected because she's been ill for some time. This clearly is really out of the blue. Even though Jackson looked frail to many people, he was embarking and planning to embark on this worldwide comeback tour. It was always his dream to come back bigger than he was. Whether that was possible or not, we'll unfortunately never know.
But still as a young man, I think a relatively young man, we certainly wouldn't have expected something like this. I think that he has been sickly. I think that ever since his trial, there have also been psychological concerns about him. So I think that a lot of the people closest to him may not be as surprised as those of us who are not.
Now, as we reported, the cause of Michael Jackson's reported death was cardiac arrest. Senior medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohen joins us now from Atlanta. Now, Elizabeth, what can you tell us about cardiac arrest and its impact?
Right, cardiac arrest, sometimes people confuse that with a heart attack. They are two very different things. In a heart attack, the heart, it loses some oxygen. Some of the muscle loses oxygen. Sudden cardiac arrest, heart function stops. The heart stops working. And that's why with sudden cardiac arrest, someone needs help, ideally within 3 to 5 minutes. There's some really sobering statistics I'm going to tell you right now, Kitty, about cardiac arrest. Few attempts at resuscitation succeed after 10 minutes. And it's estimated that more than 95% of cardiac arrest victims die before reaching the hospital. Now, Kitty, I was on the phone with a cardiologist and I said, gosh, he was only 50. What do you think? Is that young? And they said, no, 50 is not young for cardiac arrest for a man, and particularly not for an African-American man. African-American men have a higher rate of cardiac arrest than white men. Kitty?
Elizabeth, his general health, of late, he had the appearance of fragility. Tell us what you think about and what you're hearing from doctors about underlying health conditions and the survivability of cardiac arrest with those conditions.
Right. I wish I knew more about Michael Jackson's chronic conditions. Unfortunately, there's all these rumors and it's hard to know what's true. But there is no question that if someone has chronic conditions, they are much less likely to survive cardiac arrest, which is extremely difficult to survive. anyhow, even in someone who doesn't have chronic conditions. So if someone has chronic heart disease to begin with, or diabetes, or really any other serious chronic disease, it makes it harder to survive. Now, what we're hearing here at CNN, what we've confirmed is that he is in a coma. That is what happens when the brain doesn't get enough blood. When the brain doesn't get oxygen, those neurons die and people go into comas. I asked a cardiologist at Mass General, a doctor who teaches at Harvard, I said, what percentage of the time, when you've had patients with cardiac arrest go into a coma, what percentage of the time do they wake up after that coma? And he said a small percentage.
Okay, so this has been developing for some time, and we have yet to hear an official from UCLA Medical Center come out and tell us what happened here. So that's what you're looking at. The crowd that's been gathered out there outside UCLA Medical Center is moving to an auditorium. And it's interesting to think, who are these people? Why are they there? We talked to Jane Yamamoto, who had fans with albums. Apparently they want to go and hear officially what has happened.
I will tell you, after covering the John Lennon murder in front of the Dakota, that people just instantly go to wherever this happened, wherever the scene was, just to pay tribute and to mourn with other fans who love the particular performer.
Emergency medical technicians in Los Angeles tell us that they arrived on scene at his home in greater Los Angeles. He was in coronary arrest and was not breathing. What do you do?
Well, this can be a complication of a heart attack. This is because of an abnormal rhythm of the heartbeat of the heart, and essentially the heart is no longer able to pump blood. So no blood and oxygen gets to the brain, and that could be the cause of coma. Obviously, the paramedics start CPR and give shocks to the heart to try to get the heart started. This was potentially clearly a massive heart attack, but even smaller heart attacks can cause this abnormal heart rhythm, which is a cause of death in the setting of heart attack.
It's our understanding that when the authorities, our understanding from authorities, by the way, Doctor, that when they arrived on scene, he was not breathing. They attempted CPR along the route to the hospital, but we have nothing to indicate that along that time they were able to revive him. We also know that the original report from his family was, or the people who were in the house with him, was that he had slipped into cardiac arrest and was not breathing at the house. EMTs tell us it was 10 minutes before they got to the house and then another 10-minute ride to the hospital. That's a long time with no breathing.
Yes, the lack of breathing, as soon as the brain doesn't get blood and oxygen, and that happens within 3 or 4 minutes, you will stop breathing. And obviously, once you stop breathing, then unless someone is there to do CPR, then that's the cause of death.
Well, we certainly don't know what the situation is now. It could very well be that when he was brought into the hospital, they were able to revive him. We simply don't know. But I can tell you that the Los Angeles Times is reporting, as our viewers who are watching on television across the United States and around the world can see, but not necessarily on XM and satellite radio, Michael Jackson is now in a coma, according to the reporting of the Los Angeles Times in its online edition right now. I guess a coma, doctor, after not breathing for a while, I mean, that's what happens next. No blood gets to your brain, and that's a coma's next, right?
That's exactly right, unfortunately. And again, unless you are able to get the blood flowing again through CPR, you literally only have a few minutes. That, of course, is why the presence of defibrillators around the country now is such an important new healthcare addition. But obviously, you need to have someone able to do CPR or administer a defibrillator right then and there. There's literally only minutes to spare.
AJ, what was Michael Jackson doing in Los Angeles before he was taken to the hospital?
Well, we don't know what he was doing immediately today or in the past few days, Kitty, but we do know, generally speaking, that he was preparing for this major concert event, this undertaking he was going to be doing in London coming up this summer, originally scheduled for July, originally scheduled as a rigorous 50-show concert series. Now, when you're preparing for it, yeah, there's certainly a lot involved, and Michael Jackson shows, and this was going to be no exception, are big, they're bold, and there's a lot of onstage activity. Michael Jackson, of course, very well known for his dance moves and for keeping the energy level at his shows very high. If we take it back a couple of months to when this concert series was first announced, Michael Jackson appeared at a press conference to let the world know that he was back, that he was doing these shows. was. And I remember remarking on my show that night and to various people here at CNN that Michael looked terrific, relatively speaking. You mentioned earlier that we're used to seeing him sort of frail. We saw him get up on that stage, albeit for a very brief time, and really show us that he certainly had the enthusiasm. He appeared to have the energy to take on this massive concert event coming up in London. Now, anybody who signs on to do any kind of a concert event of a decent scale is going to have to undergo a physical. Well, Michael Jackson, for something that inevitably was having millions upon millions of dollars poured into it, had to undergo a rigorous physical. A couple of months ago, there were some rumors floating around, Kitty, about the possibility that Michael was having health issues, that perhaps even he was suffering from cancer. That was one of the rumors that was out there. So we spoke with the head of AEG, that is the concert promoter who put together this deal with Michael Jackson for these shows this summer in London. At the time, back in May, the head of AEG told us that Michael was, in fact, in terrific health, that Michael underwent a vigorous physical exam, and that he came out with flying colors, and that before performing and going through with the concert event, he would have to undergo another physical exam. I'm not a doctor. I would have to imagine if there were some serious health and heart problems at that time, they certainly would have shown up in the type of exam that is typical before they will sign on the dotted line for a multi-million-dollar event.
Again, as we show live pictures from the UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles, again, NBC News reporting that Michael Jackson has died, 50 years old, from Gary, Indiana. Our MSNBC coverage, of course, is going to continue. And again, a very dramatic and big story, perhaps as big as they get in the world of pop culture and music. And so it's appropriate that our coverage should be led now by MSNBC's Keith Olbermann here in New York. Keith?
David Schuster, thank you, and thank you for your good work. Yes, we await an official announcement, but NBC News has now confirmed the earlier reports that Michael Jackson, planning on the verge of his greatest or certainly most difficult comeback of many in a long and varied career in entertainment, and one of the most controversial figures in American pop culture, if not in the society as a whole, is dead tonight at the age of 50, having succumbed apparently to cardiac arrest this afternoon, and having been taken from a home that he was renting in the Holmby Hills section of Westwood, California, part of Los Angeles, of course, and taken from there to the UCLA Medical Center, which is what you're seeing there in those pictures in the other box here with me. The crowds began to form quickly, and as you can see, they are quite deep. They began to form probably about half an hour ago now. When word got out that Michael Jackson was very sick, certainly in a coma, to what degree he was resuscitated after firefighters went to that Holmby Hills house and reported him not breathing is not clear. Whether or not he ever gained anything resembling consciousness or survivability after that point is not clear, as an official announcement is yet, and when that might occur is not yet clear. But those crowds began to form because well before there was an announcement from a news organization per se, the website TMZ.com had reported that they never got him going again, had awakened him from his coma, and that Michael Jackson was dead. That story began to get out a little bit before 3 o'clock Pacific time this afternoon. By 18 minutes past this hour, 3:18 in the West and 6:18 in the East, the Los Angeles Times had been reporting that he had been pronounced dead by doctors at the UCLA Medical Center. And then, as we mentioned, as David Schuster has continually reported to you in the last 20 minutes or so, NBC News was able to confirm through a family friend that Michael Jackson passed away, concluding certainly one of the most extraordinary lives in American 20th century and 21st century history.
Michael Jackson, of course, the former king of pop, one of the most famous men on all the planet, who's had extreme ups and downs throughout his life, who at the age of 10 in 1968 was a member of the Jackson 5 when they signed with Motown, whose career has stretched across these many years, whose Thriller album changed the music world probably forever, and who has been through very difficult times with lawsuits and his own personal problems, his own skin and health problems throughout a series of 50 concerts across the United Kingdom to begin that were set to begin this July. Instead, they were pushed back 1 year in hopes of what he said would be a perfect concert tour. And now, as of 3:15 this afternoon, the Los Angeles Times is reporting that Michael Jackson was pronounced dead at 3:15. That's 3:15 Pacific Daylight Time, 6:15 Eastern Time here on the East Coast. Michael Jackson, dead this afternoon. Absolutely unthinkable. Michael Jackson is one who had promised to have a comeback. Michael Jackson had promised that he would be able to get this concert tour going again, but so many who were close to him and close to his family and close to his life were insisting his health was very frail. Geraldo reported a short time ago he had not hired choreographers, he had not hired dancers. There was simply no way to get this going. In the meantime, it had so many financial problems along the way. Michael Jackson, hundreds of millions of dollars in debt, lost his Neverland Ranch, and now ended up moving to Bahrain on the heels of those child abuse charges, of which he was found not guilty in a court of law. Moved to Bahrain and then began this idea of another series of concerts. The United Kingdom is a place where he is still very much loved. In the United States, some of his star may have faded in some quarters, but not in the United Kingdom and not across much of Europe, certainly not across Asia. He is one of the biggest stars in all the world and maybe the most famous man in all the world. And the Los Angeles Times and the Associated Press are reporting he was pronounced dead this afternoon, 3:15 Pacific Time, 6:15 Eastern Time. Michael Jackson is dead. Our chief Fox Report correspondent, Jonathan Hunt, is live with the rest of the story as we have it from our Fox newsroom in New York. Jonathan.
Shep, I literally just got off the phone with Jerry Greenberg. He was the president of MJJ Music, that is Michael Jackson's label, from 1993 to 2000. I broke the news that the AP is reporting to Jerry Greenberg that Michael Jackson had in fact died. He could barely speak when I told him that. He then said, the world has lost a major talent. Michael Jackson, Jerry Greenberg said to me, was right up there with Elvis Presley. He also said this is such a sad time for this to happen, because he told me that Michael Jackson, who he had spoken to in the last couple of weeks, was so looking forward to doing those series of concerts in London. In fact, he was in LA right now because he was rehearsing for those concerts. I was told by Jerry that they had been rehearsing at the Forum in LA, but it simply wasn't a big enough venue, wasn't the right size venue, so they had moved in the last few days to the Staples Center in LA.
Here, if you weren't reading the reports either on the computer or watching television, you would certainly know just by passing through here that something very serious is happening. Choppers are buzzing overhead, crowds are forming on the streets. We're talking about an area of some 4 large city blocks at least, and as far as I can see, there are people teeming on the sidewalks everywhere trying to get a look at what exactly is happening here. And of course, media vans have started arriving on the scene. Those familiar orange and yellow cones have been placed on the sidewalks on the streets to redirect traffic. Again, it's obviously a major scene here at the UCLA Medical Center.
6:30, they loaded the body of Michael Jackson onto that helicopter, and in just a couple of minutes, they're making their final approach now to County USC Medical Center.
In the skies over Los Angeles, news crews track the helicopter carrying Michael Jackson's body. In death, the king of pop, just as much a figure of fascination as he was in life. In a plain white body bag, Jackson was transported into the care of the Los Angeles coroner. He will establish how exactly it all came to an end.
At this point, we have not and will not determine cause of death. The autopsy will probably last several hours, and we will be out to give an update.
The cameras had even been there as the ambulance took Jackson from his home as paramedics fought to save his life. Photographers trying to get a shot inside. Within hours, what was feared had been confirmed.
Upon arriving at the hospital at approximately 1:14 p.m., a team of doctors, including emergency physicians and cardiologists, attempted to resuscitate him for a period of more than 1 hour, and they were unsuccessful.
Sisters Janet and LaToya Jackson were also at the hospital. As fans texted each other for information outside, for a while, confusion reigned.
I don't know what to believe right now. I heard he had a heart attack. I heard they brought him back. I heard they couldn't revive him. I don't know who to believe or who to trust right now. I just want to know what's happening. And I love him so much. And Now he's gone. I can't believe that. You're not supposed to go.
When confirmation came, fans swarmed to the hospital to mourn their hero, but also to celebrate his life, the dance moves and the music.
People always told me, be careful what you do. Don't go around breaking young girls' hearts.
This is something that is going to be life-changing, that people are going to remember forever, and it's the day the music died. This is definitely something that's going to hit our generation forever.
It just seems so unreal. I just cannot believe that this is happening.
Reports that the star had become reliant on prescription drugs have added more mystery. The family's lawyer says they were concerned.
Everyone of this family had said to Michael that this is something which must be controlled, it must be stopped. It was to no avail, because it just was not something which he would listen to, and the people around him would not listen to it, and as a result, nothing was done. I don't want to point fingers. I don't know if that is a cause. We know that Michael used prescription medications because he was in pain.
Jackson always paid tribute to some of the most devoted fans in the world. Those who knew the star well were clearly shocked at his death. Paul McCartney, who worked with him, said he was a massively talented boy man with a gentle soul. His music will be remembered forever, and my memories of our time together will be happy ones. Madonna added, I can't stop crying over the sad news. I've always admired Michael Jackson. The world has lost one of its greats, but his music will live on forever.
The one side of Michael that we all knew was the singing and the dancing. He was as tough as he was talented.
The actress Brooke Shields called Jackson an extraordinary friend and said she was overcome by sadness. So too the man who made him a star.
He was like my son. He had warmth, sensitivity, and two personalities. You know, when he was not on stage, he was loving, respectful, and shy. When he was on stage, he was so in charge, you would not believe that this was the same person. A showman from his toes to the top of his head.
The vigils spread from the hospital to the Jackson family home. These are the people who hope Jackson's legacy will be the music, not the scandal. In the sometimes weird world of Michael Jackson, there were moments of normality for him and his children. They are now without a father, and it seems the end of his extraordinary story cannot quite be written yet.